How difficult do you think it was for the offense today? Just not very many plays ran. The entire possession was extremely lopsided. I mean, obviously you want to return a kick for a touchdown, but that also kind of adds to the lack of, I mean, it just never seemed like you could get into a rhythm.
Well, a lot of explosive plays on our behalf, kick return, lack of conversions on third down. That's going to create a low number of plays. You know, and the most overrated statistic in football shows up in time of possession. You know, but, you know, you scored 38 points, and, you know, I think there's a lot of plays that we left out there that we could do a better job of. And I think the thing that sticks out the most is the third down conversions. You know, we're 25% today, and, you know, they made it hard. Their DBs made some good contested challenges on, you know, throws that were bang plays that they knocked down. So go to work, evaluate the tape, and get better.
How much of third down and just the 3 and outs do you think was, you know, a guy in Don Brown who's known for these defensive things, and he's going against an inexperienced offensive line?
I mean, it's feast or famine. I mean, it's pressure defense. I mean, you know, you're gonna miss some. You know, you're gonna hit some long plays too. You know, and that's kind of what you saw. That's how the game went today. So, you know, obviously you never go into a game planning you're gonna have 45 offensive snaps, but you know, and I think our defense did a really good job staying in there. But you know, we didn't get the quarterback on the ground a couple times on third down that extended their drives. We lined up off sides, or jumped off sides one time that extended the drive. You know, so you know, those moments where you're off the field, you know, and then that drive extends, and that's, you know, they did a good job staying ahead of the sticks and, you know, controlled the ball.
Could you sense the momentum shift on the All's interception and then the junior touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, I think that those, obviously, anytime there's big plays that, you know, you could feel the emotion of the game and feel the momentum kind of swinging back and forth. And those were 2 huge plays. There's no doubt about that. You know, Braden made a great catch, and then, you know, it's funny that the touchdown that Junior caught, the series before we had the same play out of a different personnel grouping that, you know, that's the snap that Tucker dropped, and that one probably would have went for a big game too to Torres, but came back to it in a different personnel and were able to get it explosive, and, you know, he was able to get free. Big play in the game.
Between week 1 and week 2, you know, you asked to see like the biggest growth from your team, and especially you mentioned wanting to see it in the communication area. Do you feel like you saw that tonight?
Yeah, I think defensively they did a great job. You know, they really did. You know, we got beat on a double move for a touchdown. Gave up a long ball there, you know, right at the beginning of the second quarter when they got the win and took a shot and got one over our head, which we got to be better in that scenario. But, yeah, and then I think on the offensive front, you know, that's about as stressful as it's going to get with the pressures and, you know, the different blitz patterns and all the different personnel groupings that they bring out there. So, you know, we figured we were going to have some plays that weren't going to be, you know, we're going to look really good, you know, and we were hoping we could get the ones that did also. So I think communication will always continue to take a step up each and every week, and, you know, we got a massive test in front of us this week that we got to make sure we're on point with.
How concerned were you about the lack of run game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to be balanced on our play calls. We threw it 23 times, we ran it 22 times. I don't know, we had 45 plays. So, you know, you can't get any more balanced as far as the calls go. You know, obviously, you know, you want to get into rhythm that you're talking about. You're wanting to have 80 snaps and 600 yards. I understand. We didn't. We had it 45 times, and those are the plays we called, and we didn't hit any explosive runs. So we'll go to work at it this week and try to figure out how to get some explosive runs.
I mean, in 2 games so far, you've had a lot of big-time special teams plays, returns. I mean, what does that add to, I don't know, your effectiveness or whatever on the scoreboard?
Well, I think that's, you know, shows that there's a lot of emphasis in equal phases, offensively and defensively, and that the kicking game's an equal phase to this thing. So Coach Weber's done a great job, you know, and that kick return unit is a lot of guys that are not, I mean, there's 4 or 5 walk-ons on that kickoff return unit, and guys that are sometimes down the line on the depth chart, and they kind of move in harmony, and they're in sync, and when it gets fitted up like it did today, it can go back for a touchdown. And it was pretty clear that once Jock got on the kicker there, that's what it was going to be. So great play for him, a great play for that unit. And I thought we were solid again too today in the punt return stuff too.
Is there a sense of like wanting to get a variety of your playmakers like into the end zone and kind of involved? I mean, I know that seems kind of like obvious, but it's like back-to-back games, it's been like almost every touchdown is scored by someone different.
Well, I mean, I think those guys are, you're talking about matchups, and those guys are, those 4 guys that scored today all scored last week. And I think that, those are your premier guys, and you're trying to find ways to try to get them the football and put them in a position where they can be successful and they can get in the end zone. So, yeah, I mean, I think that you want guys that can create explosive plays, and we got to do a great job finding ways to get them the ball.
NIU beat Notre Dame today. Bowling Green probably should have beat Penn State. What do you think that says about the MAC?
I mean, I didn't watch either one of those games, obviously, but obviously that's two. I saw the score of the Bowling Green game early on, and saw it was a very competitive game. So, I think we're a strong conference, top to bottom. I think that there's great parity here in this league. I've said that for a long time. I think it's a regionally recruited league here, so we know a lot of each other and know a lot of players, and I think that the competition throughout, and then I think obviously, these teams look for that stage. I mean, they want to be on that stage. They want to be able to have that opportunity, and I think those are great opportunities, for our league and for each and every team that gets a chance to go play at those places, and that's a good statement for our league today, if that's what happened.
I mean, are those wins by the MAC or near wins by the MAC something that's, I guess, noticed by your players, and is it something that going into a game you have next week that's discussed at all? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got plenty of examples of our, history here of what that looks like, and and obviously we got to do a great job fixing our mistakes that we made today and continue to grow this team.
Could you just kind of describe the interception? I mean, it was obviously a great play.
I mean, it was I think it was 3rd down maybe. The coaches gave us a good call and put me in a good position to make a play on the ball, and just doing what I'm coached to do.
I mean, were you trying to pick it, or were you trying to knock it down, or what?
Yeah, the pass was a little bit behind him, so I undercut the route, and I tried to pick the ball off.
No.
Did you feel the momentum shift, like from that moment, especially then obviously into the touchdown right after?
When I made the play, the crowd was awesome. It was a great environment. They got really loud, which is huge, and then we get to the sideline and make corrections, and I look up at the scoreboard and scoring a touchdown. It's big plays like that. It was huge for the game.
For a degree of difficulty, from 1 to 10, how difficult of a catch was it?
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I mean, I played receiver in high school, so I'm used to catching the football, so it wasn't anything out of the ordinary.
Or junior?
The offense had really been struggling. You only had 102 yards before your touchdown catch. Could you sense that kind of a big play was needed to get a spark?
I mean, yeah, we started off a little slow. I mean, we knew it was out there on the table. We just had to execute.
I mean, those first almost 3 quarters, I don't know, what do you think what was the issue with the offense, kind of passing it around, I guess?
I'd say a lot of self-inflicted wounds. I mean, mistakes we were making. They were giving us everything we saw on film, everything we wanted. We just, on our end, wasn't executing.
And just how big of a game-changing sequence do you think that was? With Braden's interception, then the touchdown pass. I mean, from that moment on, you scored 3 touchdowns and had, I think, 152 yards in the 4th quarter.
I mean, with that interception, that was a huge play. I mean, y'all saw the play, acrobatic play. So, I mean, going back on the field after that, you got to go score after that.
This is now the 2nd straight game where you, Jerwan, and Anthony Torres all score touchdowns. Just what does it mean to have so many potent threats within the offense?
Just knowing what we have and what we're capable of.
Did you also feel a sense of having to settle in the pocket this game, especially because it felt like in those first couple drives, they were getting more pressure on you than say probably Duquesne got last week?
Not necessarily. I mean, those guys up front did a really good job. I mean, that head coach is known for it's Dr. Blitz, so we knew that there was going to be some things that they threw at us, but I think they did a really good job of hanging tough in there and just giving me enough time to make the read and make a throw.
Coach always talks about from week 1 to week 2 wanting to see this sense of growth, especially within communication. Do you feel like you guys showed that tonight?
I think within communication, yeah. I think we did grow there. I think personally, I still got to, get into the film and look at some things. There's, plenty more that I can grow from. Just personally, And even as an offense, you know, I think we're knocking at the door. And I think if you knock at the door long enough, you know, somebody's going to let you in.
How difficult, I mean, this is not an offensive line question, but I mean, you guys didn't run the ball very effective tonight. I mean, how difficult is it to try to complete passes when you aren't running the ball well?
I mean, I don't think it really changes much. I mean, you know, I like to throw the ball, so when we call pass play, like, you know, my eyes light up, I'm ready to go. So I don't really think that it has any effect. I think that, you know, they had a really good plan for us, and they just played really good, hard-nosed defense.
And then, I mean, time of possession, I don't know if you realize, I mean, it was 45-15.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a game where it's that
I
lopsided?
mean, I think they said we had 43 plays,
And they had
you know,
88.
to their 88,
Yeah.
and 3 of our plays were kneel down. So I mean, we really had 40 offensive plays. So, and I mean, that just goes back to the rhythm thing. Like, it's really hard to get into a rhythm, and you know, that's to our own fault. I mean, you can't go 3 and out, you know, 3 possessions in a row to start the game. You'll never get into a rhythm that way.
I mean, those first 3 possessions, I mean, you really squandered some opportunities. You had the ball in midfield, all 3. Was that like a frustrating way to start the game?
Definitely. I mean, I think anytime you start the game, no matter where your field position is, if you start with 3 straight 3 and outs, like, that's frustrating. But then to add on top of it that we had really great field position, our defense was playing really well. That's definitely frustrated. Would have liked to, you know, put a drive together and get some points on the board there.
Good?
I'm good. Yeah.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Doug.
you, Darcy.
All right, Brady.